Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, here we are, week number 3 of the FMA GT3 season. Today we head to Spain. A couple road courses, street circuits, I guess, behind us. They're all road courses, but street circuits behind us. We head to a little more of a wide open spaces. A track that predominantly is used for motorcycle GP racing, but you know what, we're going to bring the GT3 machines here this evening. Welcome in, this is Racer Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, Richard Swindells, who I think said it got a mouthful of Cadbury cream eggs, but we won't look...
No. Mini eggs, Rob.
Mini eggs. Oh, you just lost a few points for that, Rich, unfortunately. But welcome in to Spain here, Rich, a track that we don't see covered a whole lot in GT3 racing.
No, we don't. And like you said, it's more known, I guess, for motorcycle racing, but it's certainly a fun track. Very challenging, very technical. The drivers are, I think they're going to have a little bit of fun tonight.
It is definitely a technical track. Speaking of the track itself, why don't we take a look at what we're dealing with here tonight. Motorland ARAGON opened in 2009, so not particularly an older track. What's that, about 27 years, sorry, not 27, but 17 years old. 3.32 miles, 5.34 kilometers, 18 corners just to test our drivers. You can see the various different layouts there on the grid. We're doing the full GP layout here this evening. But we got 2 races under our belt here, Rich. Let's take a look and see what the Drivers' Championship is shaping out. On the pro side, Marshall Crocker Jr. jumped up to top spot, knocking Travis Roberto and Brock Morris down into second and third. Chase Matsko and Nathaniel Fryman going to round out the top 5. Over in Pro-Am, Alexander Zugig sitting atop of the class ahead of Fernando Rosario, Justin Welsh, Jamie MacArthur, and Adam Brady tied for 5th place with Kyle Mavis. And then over in the AM side, we got Dustin Wells leading the way, 11 points ahead of Alexander Berger. Ryan Peters sitting in 3rd spot with Broughton Jones in 4th, and Cody Deek rounding out the field in AM. And then why don't you take us through our teams championship, Rich?
Yeah, new for Freedom Motorsports Alliance this season is a teams championship. Right now, Iron Horse Motorsports. Pretty decent lead over Threshold Motorsports, who are only 3 points ahead of, I'm guessing, a cousin or sister team, Threshold Performance at 54 points. 4th place, FR Racing, and Admin Advantage sitting in 5th.
I think I just realized I had myself muted potentially in OBS, so welcome in if you didn't catch all that. Week 3, bugs in the air, Rich. I'm still all fired up about you telling me that the Toronto Maple Leafs fired their GM earlier, and it's got me all out of sorts here. I got to get myself resituated here, get the bearings set back in, and get ready for week 3 here.
Well, if you're anything like me, Rob, you're celebrating with a drink or two, so hey, it's gonna be fun in the booth tonight, folks. So gotta be honest. Anyhow, we got Matt Mars. Oh, look at this. He's gone away from the Easter treats. He's running nerds, folks. Matt Mars, number 34, running for Admin Advantage, currently sitting 11th place.
Yeah, he's brought back your nerd paint job. I guess he's probably ran out of Easter-themed paints here, Rich, so we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But let's take a look at our weather conditions here today. 66-degree air temp, 70-degree Fahrenheit track temp, partly cloudy skies. Actually looks like mostly sunny out there to me. No rain in the forecast, so should be a very pleasant day. You know what? I think this track, if I remember correctly, I looked into it a while back. It's kind of out in the middle of like a desert area in Spain. There's nothing really around. So I wonder if when they race here in real life, they get a lot of sand blown up on the track and making it really gritty and abrasive.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like a whole lot of greenery in the background there, does it, Rob? Yeah, that very well could be, but that grass or vegetation, of which there is little, is looking really, really dry. As we take a look at Chris Lashbrook, currently sitting second place behind a Marshall Crocker Jr. We're well into qualifying. We got about 2.5 minutes left to go, though. Let's see if Chris Lashbrook is able to capitalize and, with Marshall in the pits, maybe make a jump.
Yeah, Lashbrook racing with us from the Land Down Under, an Aussie in session here tonight. So it's what, about 9-10 o'clock in the morning over there. So some early morning. Probably had a little bit of breakfast, jumped on the sim rig and do a little racing with the fellas here in Freedom Motorsport Alliance, Rich. But let's take a look at where we've been and where we're going this season. As I mentioned, I did mention, I don't know if anybody heard me or not, as I was muted. Week 3 of 12, we're at Aragon, 45-minute fixed setup as usual. Next week, we're going to head to a track that's not far from either one of us, Rich, in Canada, Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Yeah, a track I've been on once and driven by many, many, many times. Whoa, we take a look at Broughton Jones doing a little bit of a power drift and a little bit of a slide. No harm, no foul, nothing hurt, but well, Uncle Tank looks like he's got a meatball flag. You take a look here, though, at Travis Roberto. Travis currently sitting in 8th place, sending it. He's done.
He's going to call it quits. I was just about to click on Uncle Tank. We'll have to get a shot at him when the race starts. Uncle Tank is our race sponsor for this evening, sponsoring this round. And let's take a look at our schedule, where we'll actually see their round number 3, Aragon, sponsored by Zach Tankersley. Next week we head to Mosport, as I mentioned. That's going to be sponsored by Jay Davis. So as you can see there, pretty much all the races this season sponsored by one of the drivers. Still looking for maybe somebody to sponsor Portimao. That's on May 18th. Long Beach, a couple of great circuits there without sponsors towards the end of the season, Rich.
Heck yeah. They really like to see those filled, because that's what pays for the broadcasts and running the league, folks. So yeah, Algarve's a great track, and Long Beach, come on. Somebody's got to sponsor Long Beach just so they can get their name on the fountain. And
That's
you know,
right.
Jacob Brown, 21st position right now. Whoa, and a big spin from Jacob Brown. Everybody having a little bit of fun to close out this qualifying session.
Yeah, Jacob Brown currently sitting in 21st place on the tail end of the cars who have put it into qualifying lap. We do have a couple penalties from last week. I know Fernando Rosario is going to have to serve a end-of-line penalty. I heard that during the pre-race meeting. Just trying to have a quick look here and see who the other end-of-line penalty was from last week. I know Nathaniel Fryman, I believe he got a penalty too as well. I'm not sure if he is in session here this evening or not. I don't see him as I quickly scan through. So I believe he might have been the other one here, Rich, but that's going to wrap up qualifying. We're going to get to take a look here at our grid in a matter of moments. And why don't you take us through the first few rows here, Rich?
Yeah, on pole, Marshall Crocker Jr. in 2nd place, Anthony Barranco. Starting on row 2, we've got Brock Morris with Chris Lashbrook. Row 3, Alex Jacobson, Uncle Tank, Zachary Tankersley. Row 4, Kyle Mavis, Travis Roberto in the Merc. Row 5, starting in 9th, Jeremy Eschelman. P10, Chase Matsko.
In row 6, we're going to find Jamie MacArthur in P11 with Matt Mars to his outside in P12. Row 7 is where Robert Milbrath and Broughton Jones are going to be starting. Row 8 is going to see Adam Brady and Jody Nielsen in 15th and 16th place. 17th place going to go to Jay Davis with Nicholas Tucker in his outside on row 9. We're rounding out the top 10. Well, the first 10 rows here is Adam Lowe in 19th and Dustin Wells in 20th.
At 21st place, Jacob Brown, Fernando Rosario starting in 22nd. Row 12, Anthony Sorrentino, Jacob Williams in 24th. Rounding out the field tonight, we've got Cody Deek.
Yeah, Cody Deek at the end of qualifying, but as we know, Fernando Rosario going to have to serve that end-of-line penalty. So he's going to have a little bit of company back there on the tail end of the field here, Rich, as the grid begins to pull away. 45 minutes of action as usual. Our drivers are limited on fuel. They will have to make a pit stop at some point in time to get a little splash. I don't think any drivers are going to take some tires. Track temp's not real hot, although even though I mentioned we are out in the middle of a desert in no man's land in Spain, but shouldn't affect the drivers all that much. But we'll see. You never know what kind of strategy might play and unfold here.
Yeah, well, you never do. You never can tell. I mean, 25 car grid, Rob. That's a good sized field for this tight and kind of twisty track. So not a lot of experience for a lot of these drivers, I don't think, here. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, technical track. It's got a half decent long straight on the back, Rich, but you know what? For the most part, you're never really unleashing the full power of these the GT3 machines. Now, let me pop up the track guide here for a minute. There is a layout where you can see in between turn 12 and 15. There is an alternate layout. We're not running it tonight that actually extends that straightaway all the way from that final turn 10 all the way up into what is turn 16.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be a nice one to see the GT3s really stretch out their legs, but we're not running that one today. It's actually that turn 15 is a little tricky. It's uphill left-hander. It's kind of blind. You're coming around almost, I don't want to call it a mountain. It's a pretty big hill, as we see the drivers actually on the opposite side of it there right now. They're going to be working their way back around, blind little left-hander up the hill, and they're going to have to be careful on the cold tires because it would be real easy to lose the back end of these cars until they get these tires up to temp.
Yeah, they're definitely imperative to get these tires up to temp. Otherwise, we're going to lose a few people, and you don't really want to overcook it on the cold tires too early on. Man, that's a pretty good aerial shot there, Rob. Nice job on the production and with the drone, or is that your helicopter up there? Very impressive.
I stole a couple drones from the U.S. Air Force, and I threw them up over in Spain. And there's the corner that I'm talking about right now that they're going through. So you can see it's tight left-hander. You can't really see it on this camera angle here, but that's uphill the whole way. And it's, like I said, it's going to be real tough. And then heavy onto the binders. They're coming down a little bit of a crest here into that right-hand corner. And it's going to be real easy to miss that braking zone because there's no brake markers there. And you can't really see that corner until you get up on the top of the crest. And you have to be heavy onto the brakes all at that point in time. So it'll be interesting to see how much practice our drivers have put in here, Rich, to kind of find the nuances of where to brake around here this evening.
Well, I think the variations of qualifying times kind of show us a little bit of that. But man, then you get on this straightaway and it's downhill. Like they're just downhill. So it's quite the sprint, but it's the longest straightaway we've got here. And I think we're going to see some pass attempts here at turn 16.
You see all our drivers now getting their tires, trying to get some heat into them. Looks like we're trying to go 3 wide already in the background there of, I believe that is Uncle Tank trying to slide his Mustang in between the Corvette of Brock Morris and the Mercedes of Lashbrook. So we'll see Uncle Tank looking racy here tonight. He is the race sponsor, so no doubt he's going to want to try and put on a good performance here tonight, Rich. Yeah,
checkers or wreckers from Uncle Tank. Is that what we're going to see, Rob?
Yeah, well, we got some drama too as well. I'll get to that as the race goes on. A little inside information from Matt Mars early on. We've had a driver defecting from their team this week, Rich. A little bit of a controversy there. They've left their team now running as an independent, but our field heading onto the front straight. We're going to get going here. Just wait for that green flag to drop. Marshall Crocker, Anthony Bronco going to lead them into turn 1. Green is out. Who's going to get the jump? Looks like Crocker going to hold that inside line, but not the best of starts there for Marshall Crocker. Bronco was able to stay side by side with him in that Mercedes and Corvette in behind of Morse and Lashbrook. Looking racy early on as Morse already made a move up into second place.
And a good clean start for Marshall Crocker Jr. Didn't get a great jump like you said, but he had enough. He's managed to hold off Brock Morse. Anthony Parenko he's down to third place now. So right now, Marshall Crocker Jr. continuing to hold off Brock Morse. Oh, we've had a big incident back behind. It looks like we got 3 cars spun around, one of them being Adam Brady. Might have been Nick Tucker. Chase Masco's involved here. Unfortunately, that car looks a little bit damaged, as does Travis Roberto's.
Yeah, you would. It spoke too soon, Rich. You'd said it looks like everybody got away clean, but
well, they had at that stage.
we commentator Kirsten. Looks like it might have kicked off with Chase Masco and Travis Roberto. We'll catch a look at the replay there in a minute once things get sorted out a little bit up front, but. Looks like Crocker and Morris already trying to separate themselves from Anthony Barranco in third place. Jacobson now up 1 spot into fourth as Lashbrook's fallen back into 5th place in that Mercedes. So good mix of cars, although it looks like the Mustang's faring well here this evening, Rich, we got 4 of them in the top 7.
Yeah, but we also still have a Corvette, a McLaren, Mercedes, so still a pretty good mix, Rob. Not too bad at all. But yeah, the Mustang's up top right now for sure, so... Anyhow, we're taking a look at Uncle Tank. It's Agri Tankersley, Mister looking for a team. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that the scuttlebutt?
That is the scuttlebutt. There it is. Uncle Tank has left his team. He is now running as an independent. So I'm not sure what the issue was, but I was informed this morning that he has left his team. Oh, and I say that Uncle Tank around. So he's going to get it backed off the track. He's going to have to wait for a number of cars to get by him before he can get back. Sorted back in there. Looks like Adam Lowe going to be by. Fernando Rosario going to be the next one. Travis Roberto. Uncle Tank just falling down the order. Oh, Roberto off on the backside too as well with no bumper. So rough race start here for a couple of Mach 10 motorsports drivers.
Oh my goodness, that really sucks. Unfortunately, our race sponsor having some issues, but right now up front, Brock Morris got that move done past Marshall Crocker Jr. up 2 positions. Brock Morris, we got Chevy power against Ford power here, Rob. Right now, Chevy on top, but Marshall Crocker Jr. no slouch. I'm wondering if Marshall made a mistake or if Brock Morris just has a little more pace this early stage.
Yeah, we'll take a look at how that pass went down here in a few moments. But first, let's go back and look at what happened on lap 1 here between Matsko and Roberto. So Matsko, the 26 on the inside. Oh, looks like just cold tires. Lost the back end of the car, went around. Roberto, similar thing. Adam Lowe, Adam Brady, all wrapped up in that one. It just looked like a bunch of single car incidents here, all at the same time, Rich.
Wow, what coincidental spins? Is that what we saw? Like that? That's the way it looked. Yeah, a little bit on the gravel, car coming around. Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me. I feel bad for the other drivers caught up in that, but I didn't see any contact really.
Yeah, it's just one of those coincidental incidents. I guess we were watching a hockey game, Rich, it'd be coincidental minors, but meanwhile,
they're pretty major.
Brock Morris starting to pull away from Marshall Crocker. I know you love seeing that Corvette running away from the Ford Mustangs, Rich.
Yeah, I've got to. I'm biased on both sides here right now, Rob. I've got. I did a broadcast with Marshall Crocker Jr. just last week, and I also love the Corvette. So, hey, may the best car and driver win tonight.
And in that. Your opinion, that would be the Corvette, Rich, am I sure?
Of course, yes.
Richard Swindell is cheering for the car, not the driver. A little farther back, we got a battle here between Matt Mars and Jeremy Eschleman. Matt Mars, one of our camera cars here this evening. We'll bring him. He's adjusted his camera angle here, Rich. He kind of sent me a sneak peek of it the other day. He's got it up behind his head versus the, kind of over the shoulder what we were seeing before. So we're getting a real idea of what kind of FOV he's looking at. You can see the triple screens. You really see almost everything around you.
Yeah, that's quite the view there. Can we blow that up a little bit, Rob? Is that possible for a minute?
Hold on here. No, hold on. Let's just bring up our 2 drivers that are sharing their cams here this evening. You can see it a little better there.
Wow.
So that's Anthony Sorrentino on the bottom. running triples as well, so you can actually see from that camera angle what he can see out that side monitor, and then Matt Mars on the top screen.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Anyhow, Matt Mars, thanks a lot, and it's always great when we have drivers showing their cameras, so that's guaranteed pretty much to get you a little bit of screen time, even if your racing isn't. But speaking of racing, Alec Jacobson right now, Alec Jacobson sitting in 4th place. He's up 1 position. He's ahead of Chris Lashbrook, who did great qualifying effort, Mr. Man from Down Under, but unfortunately for Chris, he's dropped 1 position on the day.
Yeah, he's trying to find a way back around Anthony Bronco, who also lost a spot too as well. Number of drivers lost a couple spots here from Brock Morris, who's got himself up top, up 2 positions on the day from where he qualified. And looks like that gap kind of stabilizing now between he and Crocker. They're actually pulling away from Bronco, Jacobson, and Lashbrook in behind. So we'll see if that trio can kind of work together here, Rich, to close down on that duo up ahead that's trying to pull away. But Uncle Tank's got himself back on track a little farther in the field, down 13 spots now and a 19th place. But we know he's got some pace, and again, race sponsor for the night, so he's going to want to try and find his way towards the front here, Rich. We'll see if he's able to dispatch of those 2 AM drivers up ahead, pair of Jacobs, Jacob Brown and Jacob Williams.
Yeah, Uncle Tank is going to be on a charge for sure. That's rather unfortunate, but Uncle Tank always has great pace. He's just got to keep all 4 tires pointing the same general direction. Jacob Williams right now, currently 17th place. Jacob Williams up 7 positions and doing a great job. Cody Deek, who started dead last, he's in 15th. He's up 10 positions. Anthony Sorrentino, he's up 9. Fernando Rosario up 9. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of moving tonight, Rob. Like Cody Deek, a stellar effort so far.
Yeah, some drivers definitely taking advantage of others' issues early on here. As you mentioned, Cody Deek, nice run by him. Currently our 2nd place AM driver sitting in 15th place overall. So you see a little highlighted area at the top of the screen. White is our AM drivers, blue is our Pro Am, and red is our Pro drivers. So we got a couple Pro drivers leading the way, and we got a couple Pro Am drivers in 3rd and 4th. That's Bronco and Jacobson battling for top spot in their class. So Bronco not only going to want to try and keep Jacobson behind him for that overall position, but class position too as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's you really want to maximize all points you can. So right now, Bronco's still in 3rd place, but Jacobson's applying some pressure, or Lashbrook applying pressure behind. Got a little 3-car battle for the final podium position at this stage. Coming down here at the pit straight, across the start-finish line, these 3 still kind of nose to tail. A couple of different lines through here. Whoa, everybody's going a little wider here. We've got Chris Lashbrook on the hunt, looking to take some advantage of these 2 drivers up ahead, getting stuck behind them. Branco holding off Jacobson, holding off Lashbrook.
Yeah, it looked like Barranco went a little wide there into turn 1. Lashbrook looks to the inside, looks like he's finally going to make that pass stick, but Barranco fighting back on the inside. Looks like borderline track limits there for Anthony Barranco. Not sure exactly how far you can go off here and not get a slowdown or a 1 hex, but Chris Lashbrook wasn't going to need to get asked twice to take that position away from Jacobson as he had to collect it up. Oh, and they come to blows, Bronco and Lashbrook. That Mustang going to shove the Mercedes off to the right a little bit, little razzle-dazzle now from Lashbrook. He's not too happy about that. That's going to bring Kyle Mavis into this battle now, the orange and black Mustang, one of the Iron Horse Motorsports drivers. He's going to quickly try and look to the inside of Lashbrook.
Oh, this is some exciting stuff here right now, folks. A little bit of NASCAR-style rubbing, which is not really expected in GT3 racing, but everybody getting through relatively unscathed. It looks like still battling 4 cars here, battling hard for 1 final position on the podium. Great action, Rob.
Yeah, tooth and nail. Elbow is out, kind of racing. I'm just kind of it looks like Lashbrook is missing the front bumper. I'm not sure where he lost that, Rich, but going to have a little bit of aero, you know, not optimal aero on the front of that car. It's going to be like pushing a big old board into the wind. So as long as he's in the draft, should work well for him. But if he gets out in the front of this pack, he's definitely going to feel a little bit. And Mavis is around and behind. The back end snaps around on the pony, and around he goes. He's going to lose a number of spots as Mars has got by MacArthur, Milbrath, Nielsen, Wells all getting by him as He's have to pull the Austin Powers 5-point turn to get that thing around back on track. He's going to cycle back in 14th place. Unfortunate set of instances there for Kyle Mavis.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. Mavis not too thrilled. Take a look at Mr. Nerds, Matt Mars, always in the brightly colored of late candy treat variety. Currently in 7th place. He's up 5 positions in the Mercedes. 2nd place Mercedes right now. And have himself a relatively clean and solid effort so far.
We got 4 Mercedes in a row here. Mars in 7th, MacArthur, Milbrath, and Nielsen 8th, 9th, and 10th. So it looks like the Mercedes and the Fords seems to be the cars of choice here this evening, Rich. We had a couple McLarens, a couple Corvettes, one lone Lamborghini that was out early on. Chase Matsko was driving that one, but you know what? It looks like it's going to be a American horsepower versus German horsepower night here.
Yeah, it's weird how that shaped out, but we got a Chevy power holding off a Ford power, but well, Ford's got 2 on the podium. But I watch those races. You know, when it comes to the team championship, that doesn't work that way, or I guess the manufacturers, because these aren't necessarily team drivers, folks. We're just giving the gears as we take a look at this end of this very long straightaway. Starts downhill, then goes uphill. Brock Morris getting through everything cleanly, coming around through, looks like turns 16, 17, 18, getting ready to come around and start another lap again. Brock Morris in 1st place. Had himself a great effort here. Brock Morris sitting there. What lap are we on here now, Rob? I think he's on lap 6. So
yeah, just
6 laps down.
6.
Yeah, almost 12 minutes into this 45-minute race. Brock Morris starting to pull a little bit of a gap.
Speaking of gaps, this battle for 3rd place between Barranco and Jacobson, they've opened up a gap over Lashbrook, who kind of lost some of that pressure from Mavis in behind, but he's also lost a little bit of pace here too as well. I wonder if that front end damage starting to play a role here now with Lashbrook, but currently sitting 3rd place in Pro Class, but he is just outside of podium positions in 5th overall. But we got a battle a little farther back here. And Jody Nielsen driving a car with a logo on the side there, Rich, that you might be familiar with.
Very cool. Jody Nielsen, the Losi car. I've seen a lot of them in my life, and none of them look like a GT3 car, but that's pretty awesome.
And Dustin Wells leading this pack of 4. He's just ahead of Nielsen. He's kind of put a little separation in those Mercedes. The Aston Power, oh no, I say that, around the back end goes to Dustin Wells. He's going to have to back it on track. Oh man, it's not that Mustang of Mavis coming through, might clear into the back end of him. Thankfully, I think Kyle saw him backing out on track, but Dustin Wells going to lose a number of positions there. He's just getting in the middle of saying he broke up that 5-car pack of Mercedes. Is now Uncle Tank going to move to the inside to him as well, but I guess technically that Aston is running a Mercedes power plant, so it's about half Mercedes under the hood.
Well, yeah, I guess I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch, but hey, whatever. Anyways, Jacob Brown here is sitting in 18th place overall. Having himself a nice little battle with the Jacob Williams. We have Ford versus BMW. And that's what I like to see. Another great thing about league racing, I pump up the leagues whenever I can, Rob, because when you get league racing, you've got people who've got a little more pace than others, but there's always somebody to race against. We have a nice little battle a little further back as we take a look at Chris Lashbrook coming in very early to pit lane. I guess the window must be open. He's going to hope to maybe get some damage repaired, get this Mercedes back up to speed.
Yeah, not surprising seeing him come in early here with that front end damage. You can take advantage of the fast repair that they have. It's kind of interesting. They have a fast repair in the GT3 League here at FMA. I can't remember if they do in the prototype on Thursdays or not. I'll be covering that one this week for Marshall Crockers. He'll be off covering a little bit of Guelph Storm hockey for Rogers TV. So multi-talented driver, producer. But last night we covered the Next Gen Racing League for FMA, first one of the season for them under the Racers Nexus banner. But they didn't have a quick repair in that one, Rich. So it's kind of interesting to see that they have it here in the GT3, but they don't offer it in the left turn racing.
Well, I guess they're trying to be a little more authentic there. Man, oh man, that's well, that's something new. I guess. Hey, whatever. I personally am a fan of the faster pair in league racing. It's not like we're running for a one of the iRacing Pro esports teams here. This is all about having fun and a little competition. So take a look here, a little further back. Kyle Mavis, see how he's doing. He's trying that little bit of recovery run. He's back up to 12th place. Anthony Sorrentino up ahead of him, who's up 12 positions. So we've got a nice little 5-car pack coming up the straight. Anthony Sorrentino so far doing a good job holding up, but no, Kyle Mavis, he is on a tear.
Yeah, Kyle Mavis trying to work back, gain back those spots he lost from that spin. See a few sparks coming out from the bottom of that Mustang as he gets up onto the curbing to try and maximize his quarter entry through there. But you know, I'm kind of surprised here that the driver we're focusing on right now, Anthony Sorrentino, pretty much all of last season when he hopped into the Aston, Rich, we saw him with the green and gold paint scheme, that, you know, the very Aston-esque paint scheme. Now he's kind of thrown his team paint on it this season, but you know what? I kind of like that gold and green that he was driving before.
Don't say that. You know, don't say that. That was too much British racing green, and we all know what we're supposed to think of British racing green, don't we, Rob? Anyhow, Matt Mars out on track, but right now, Brock Morris, we're going to take a look at Brock Morris, 2-second gap. So what happened here on a replay here with Jacob Williams coming in first corner. Oh, get a little bit understeer, tried to correct, got some oversteer. The back end came around, lost a couple positions, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, that was the battle of the Jacobs to find out who the superior Jacob is, and unfortunately Jacob Williams and that Mustang. We've seen a number of Mustangs with that same issue here tonight. Uncle Tank, Kyle Mavis, now Jacob Williams. So the Mustangs are fast here, Rich, but looks like keeping the back end behind them is a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, that's generally the case, I think, with the Mustang, at least in comparison to some of the other cars, maybe the mid-engine cars, maybe the Mercedes, for instance. But the Mustang's got that raw power. Take a look here, Jody Nielsen in the Losey car. I'll call him the Team Losey car. Jody Davis having a good job holding off for now, anyhow, Kyle Mavis. But Kyle Mavis with his huge pace, I'd expect him to try and hop by Jody Nielsen right quick.
Yeah, he's gonna. Oh, you can see him kind of second guessing there whether he was gonna look to the left of Jody Nielsen. See him kind of twitch a little bit there, second guessing, moving back to the left or right. I think he should have actually went for it. Look like he had the nice run. It almost looks like Nielsen was expecting him to dive underneath, but just up ahead of them, we got a battle here between Robert Milbrath and Fernando Rosario. Rosario had to serve that end of line penalty, so start at the back of the field here. Rich got himself up 13 places into 9th place. Look to try and take one more here away from Robert Milbrath.
Yeah, Rob Milbrath, Fernando Rosario having himself a nice little battle here. Rosario's starting to apply some pressure. Let's see if look, nice camera views here. Look at the great shot there, folks. Fernando Rosario coming around. Fernando Rosario still trying to apply some pressure with Robert Milbrath. Rosario up 13 positions, looking for a couple more here.
Yeah, I think those drivers might just decapitated our cameraman, Rich, so he might need a medic out there. But either way, if Rosario closing up that gap on Milbrath, so it's a couple Pro-Am drivers battling it out here. So it's not only a position overall, it's positioned in Class 2 as well, 8th and 9th place. And actually, we've got from 6th all the way back to 11th is occupied by our Pro-Am drivers. So these guys are going to be battling up and down the grid here.
Just one thing to note, Rob, I just noticed Chris Lashberg, who took that early pit stop. I think his chances of podium are over for today. He was in the pit. He was in his stall for over a minute, so obviously it took a little while to get some of that damage repaired. Anyhow,
wondering
that said,
wonder if maybe he forgot to check his quick repair, Rich, or maybe he got a speeding penalty on the way in. Who knows?
I do not know, but in the meantime, Jody Nielsen and now following along behind Kyle Mavis. Kyle Mavis getting one more of those positions back. Next on the hunt, he's going to be trying to hunt down Fernando Rosario and Robert Milbrath up ahead.
Yeah, they're about 3.6 seconds up the track here right now from Kyle Mavis, they're still in that battle here with Milbrath leading Rosario. Rosario unable to find a way around. Oh, Milbrath's going to go a little wide. Taking a chance there, getting the slowdown. That's exactly what Rosario would want to see. No easier way to pass the car ahead of you, Rich, than that car getting a slowdown. You're just kind of sneaking by while they try and bleed that off.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, thanks a lot for having to get slowed down to 50 here. I'm going to go by at 80. Anyhow, Kyle Mavis, take a look at the replay here. Whoa, no, Kyle Mavis doing a good job of trying to move up, but, ooh. Wow.
It's been story of the night here for Kyle Mavis and a number of Mustang drivers. This is the second Mustang we've seen lose it in turn one. Williams was the last one we saw into turn one. So these Mustang drivers are going to have to take note of the trouble the rest of the Ford drivers in the field are having here. A couple Ford drivers we haven't seen have much trouble so far tonight. Marshall Crocker Jr. in second place, started on pole, lost that position to Brock Morris. Morris starting to open up that gap now, 2.3 seconds, but Anthony Barranco in third. He is pulling away from Alex Jacobson in fourth. So two of our top three in Fords looking well for them, but they're going to have to keep in the back of their mind the issues we've seen the rest of their compatriots in the Ford machines here tonight have been having.
Yeah, I think Marshall Crocker Jr. and Anthony Barranco have this one kind of figured out, but never say never. We're not even halfway through this 45-minute race. We still got 23 and a half minutes thereabouts left. Right now, Brock Morris continuing to hold and lead. Getting close to 3 seconds over Marshall Crocker Jr. Marshall Crocker Jr. got about, 9.5 seconds over Anthony Barranco. Barranco then has himself a 2-second gap to Alex Jacobson. So cars are pretty spread out in the top 5 right now.
I think something has happened here between Milbrath and Rosario. Let's take a quick look. Oh, Rosario trying to squeeze him to the right. They bump a couple times. Looks like Rosario might have come over to the right there a little bit. Looks like Milbrath slowed down, waited for him to get back on tracks. Nice gentleman move there. But out of nowhere, Jody Nielsen slides up through and says, I'll take that position. But let's see if we can get a shot here from the blimp. Take another look here. What happened between Milbrath and Rosario? Oh, we're going to need something a little closer than that. There we go. So a little touch there. And then I think it's just a racing incident there, Rich. Not really wanting to give each other any space.
I think that was very generous of Milbrath waiting there. I like to do the honorable thing, but I don't know if he necessarily needed to there. But hey, well done on him anyway. So Robert Milbrath, that moves him back to 10th place. But he's got some decent pace tonight, so looking to maybe get one or two of those back as we take a look at Fernando Rosario exiting the pits.
Yeah, he popped into the pits after that incident. It's always a strategy move, Rich. You have an incident on track, you spin on track, try and cut your losses, hop into the pits, get that fuel service done, get those tires cooled down, make yourself back on track, and try and mount another charge. But Jody Nielsen now has Robert Milbrath in behind him. Nielsen up 7 spots, Milbrath up 3 spots. So a couple of Mercedes who have done well here this evening. Uncle Tank was able to sneak through all that and get himself back up into 8th place. So still on that recovery run from the early spin here for Uncle Tank. Almost back to where he started here, Rich.
Yeah, Uncle Tank is doing a fabulous job. And right now his pace is quite solid. I think the only person with better lap times, there's only 1 or 2 guys, and they're only a couple tenths, and one of them is Brock Morris. Brock Morris, our race leader. So we got something going on here with Broughton Jones. He's been given a black flag for something. Not sure what, but we're going back here to Zachary Tankersley. Uncle Tank up to 8th place. Mr. Team looking for a team going into corner 1. Let's see if he keeps the back end. Yeah, manages to make a little correction to what we've seen a little bit earlier on from the Mustangs.
Yeah, I'm wondering if these guys are in chat talking to each other. I know they usually have one big group chat where most of the drivers are in. Let's see, we've got Alex Jacobson, Anthony Sorrentino, Broughton Jones, Cody Deek, Jamie MacArthur, Jamie Eshelman, Jody Nielsen, Nick Tucker. He must just be spotting for somebody. And Robert Milbrath. So yeah, no, not in that chat. So maybe they're in another chat somewhere sharing a little strategy here, Rich. If it were me, all these Ford drivers, I want to be in the same chat so we can kind of let each other know what kind of issue we've been having here tonight. But so far, it's been a struggle.
Well, if it was me, I want to be talking to Marshall Crocker Jr. because Marshall Crocker Jr., who has taken his pit stop, he's the lead car. He's in 7th place, the lead car, having taken their pit stop. He seems to have this Ford pretty much figured out tonight.
And so far, so good for him. Our race leader now into the pits, Brock Morris. He's going to come in and get a little splash of fuel. He's always coy, Rich, with us on what his tire strategy is. So let's keep
Smart
an eye
man.
on him. Let's keep an eye on him. See if that car goes up on jack stands.
Yeah, we're gonna start gathering evidence here on Brock Morris. Go. Oh, hey, Rob, do you see what I see there?
I see it. I think he's putting front tires on, Rich. So we'll see how it works out for him. But Jeremy Eschleman yet to pit. He's going to come around and take P2. And that's going to promote Anthony Bronco up into top spot. He still owes us a pit stop. He's not come in yet, but he's got that Ford Mustang pony up, leading the way here now. So we'll see where Morris cycles back out. Could Bronco pull a strategy here? Has he been able to save any fuel, Rich? Could he have a shorter pit stop here? As we have a look, Brock Morris 15.3 seconds in his stall. Not the quickest pit stop we've seen here tonight. That goes to Anthony Sorrentino right now with 14.2 seconds, but could be a little bit of a fuel issue there for Sorrentino. It seems a lot quicker, than everybody else that's come in so far for fuel.
Yeah, a little bit tight. And Marshall Crocker Jr. and Brock Morris both had very similar pit times. And right now, Brock Morris, after that, he's just over a 3-second lead. So he increased his gap just a little bit through the pit cycle. Brock Morris, currently 5th. He's looking for a team too there, Rob. So, I mean, are they on the same team? I'm getting all confused.
Team looking for a team. That's what they should call themselves there. Our top 4 drivers still owe us a pit stop, but looks like the majority of the rest of the field, other than Cody Deek and Jody Nielsen, have come in for their service. So we'll see here. Brock Morris and Marshall Crocker should sort themselves back up into 1 and 2. The real question will be between Bronco and Eschleman here. If Bronco's been able to really open up that gap, as right now it's sitting at about 4 seconds between he and Eschleman as Broncos come into the pits. We'll see. I suspect Eschleman and everybody else who hasn't pit here yet, Rich, should be coming in this time too as well. No, Eschleman got Ruby Long. He's going around one more time.
Yeah, but in behind him, they're not. So did you notice Brock Morris doing a huge job of warming up the tires for somebody who may or may not have taken tires? I'm not saying he took tires, folks, if you're looking for some little espionage here, but he seemed to be weaving and bobbing a lot trying to warm up something.
Well, you know what? While he's doing that, Rich, we know he doesn't have the tires back up to temp yet. Look at that gap. It's closed between he and Marshall Crocker Jr. Crocker Jr. taking advantage of Morris having to get those tires back up to temp. Takes about a lap and a half or so to get those tires really back up into optimum operating temperature. So Marshall Crocker Jr. with the same tires he had on since the start of the race didn't have to go through that. His tires were already warmed up and up to somewhat optimal pressures. They would have cooled off a little bit while he was in the stall, but he's trying to take advantage now. Can he get himself up into draft here before Morris gets his tires back up into operating temperature?
Yeah, at one point, Marshall had closed that gap from 3 1/4 seconds down to 1.5 seconds. So you can really see the difference in the pit strategy between getting those new tires for the grip at the end, but costing you a bunch of time right now. Marshall Crocker Jr. trying to take advantage of that benefit he's got, because he's going to lose it as this race progresses.
Yeah, with only 15 minutes to go, I'm not sure if Morris will really be able to hold a full extraction out of those fresh tires here, Rich, but he's only got a couple more laps or corners to go to finish up this lap, and then that should pretty much complete his outlap here, so his tires should be more or less back up to temp. But Crocker Jr. was able to get that gap down to 1.2, 1.3 seconds. And he's going to need a little bit of help here to close that gap up on Morris even further. But if he can get himself into the draft, we may see a battle here for the final 12, 13 minutes of this race, Rich.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, folks. But here's a little bit of a battle we got going on. Back in 11th place, Robert Milbrath following along behind Jody Nielsen. These two drivers, closest battle on the track right now. Milbrath, he's up 2 positions, and Nielsen's up 6. drivers looking closest battle. Nobody had they're a couple 2 or 3 seconds behind is Kyle Mavis. So Kyle Mavis looking to get into this mix, but right now it's Milbrath trying to make a move. Nothing happening just yet for Milbrath. In behind there we've got Fernando Rosario, 13th place. We saw a little issue with him earlier. Right now though, Jody Nielsen continuing to hold off Robert Milbrath.
And a couple of Mercedes going toe-to-toe here, battling it out for the final spot in the top 10. Jody Nielsen currently holding on to that spot. Robert Milbrath would love to take that away. You know, it's one of those threshold positions, Rich. You know, top 5, top 10, 15, 20. You know, those groups of 5 that you like to try and get. I always hate the odd numbers. I always like an even number position. I feel like if I finish in as weird as it may seem, if I feel like I finish in a odd number position, I feel like, oh man, it sets my juju all off. It ruins my night.
The only odd number positions you want are 1 and 3, and that is it. Take a look here. Matt Mars going around the outside. Matt Mars round outside Jamie MacArthur. Jamie MacArthur trying to come back and fight. Well, these two drivers side by side. Look at this, folks. Side by side some more. Jamie MacArthur on the inside. Side by side, they continue to go. Matt Mars got the nose ahead. Matt Mars gets a position.
Yeah, it looks like he's finally going to make that pass stick around the outside. I think he had to go around the outside about 3 times there, Rich. You don't see that work too often. Usually running that outside, eventually the inside driver gets a little better run, but Matt Mars able to hold on over Jamie MacArthur. We'll see if MacArthur able to regroup and mount a charge here down the straight to try and make a move back around Matt Mars.
I think Matt Mars may have some shifting ballast of nerds in that car, the way he managed to make it stick around the outside. You don't, like you said, you don't usually see that, so Matt Mars definitely not afraid to stay in it. Jamie MacArthur trying to battle back now as they come down to the end of this, a long straightaway, a bit of a kind of a hairpin turn here. Matt Mars, though, getting that job done. Matt Mars about a half a second gap now to Jamie MacArthur.
Down through the final corner they go, and down the front stretch as we see them both flying by there to complete lap number 16 for the, or sorry, 15 for them. They're on lap 16 now. But up front, Brock Morris, those tires back up into optimal operating temperature. Rich, he's now opening that gap back up over Marshall Crocker back to 1.5, 1.6 seconds. Give a little bit of razzle-dazzle to some lap cars up ahead of him. That's the 317 of Jay Davis just up ahead of him. So Davis in his own battle with Jacob Williams. So, you know, they see the leaders coming, but they're not just going to want to pull over here and sacrifice their race too as well. It's always one of the tricky things when you get into the back end of the field, especially when they're battling other cars.
Yeah, it's always tricky, but Jay Davis moving over here, letting a Brock Morris take full advantage. Where it's going to be interesting here is where does Marshall Crocker Jr. Trying to catch up. Jay Davis wants to not get involved in this fight. Jay Davis, a tremendous job of sportsmanship, letting Crocker through as well.
And a gentlemanly move there by Jay Davis, sacrificing his own battle with Jacob Williams to let the leaders through. So nicely done by him. But this battle's still not over here yet. Matt Mars has been unable to run away from MacArthur. Once he's got around him, Jamie MacArthur still holding on the back end. One of our Canadian drivers, 2 Canadians in the field, Marshall Crocker Jr., Jamie MacArthur. We've got the Aussie of Chris Lashbrook. I believe Chilean? Did we find out Fernando Rosario? I can't quite picture that flag, whether it's Chilean or Dominican. It's one of them.
I guess I could do an AI search on it, but that would involve a lot of work, Rob, and you're not paying me overtime, man. Anyhow, just kidding, folks. Brock Morris, currently first place. They come through. Marshall Crocker Jr. also getting through. Take a look here. Jacob Williams looks like he got a little bit of a slowdown. Brock Morris using all the curb, then a whole bunch of, well, all of it anyhow. Brock Morris still holding up about a 1.8 second gap to Marshall Crocker Jr., who's done a fairly good job of keeping with him now that Morris has his tires up to town.
Yeah, hats off to Crocker Jr. Close that gap, and he's been able to stick with him, but I don't think he has enough here tonight for Brock Morris unless something happens to Morris. He's looking fairly strong since he got out front, but Anthony Barranco, we saw here Jacobson, one of the last drivers to come in for his service. Bronco went that extra lap, was able to lead the lap, but now Jacobson, the Threshold Motorsports car, right in behind Anthony Bronco. So Bronco in the pony action. I just noticed something here. I don't know if it's been like this all season or not, Rich, but the drivers on the Iron Horse Motorsports team, Anthony Bronco, Kyle Mavis, and Marshall Crocker Jr. We'll have to take a look at Jacob Williams' paint, but they all have the same paint with the Mustang on the quarter panel, with just different colors of each one.
That's a different way of doing it. I like that. And I guess it's only fitting that they're driving Mustangs and have a horse on it, right? I mean, hey, what? Hey, I wonder where they came up with a name. That's fabulous.
Maybe I should be on the slow human team for just noticing that now, but Jamie MacArthur thought about looking up the inside of Matt Mars. He's closed that gap down here. Mars was able to open up about a half second to 6/10. MacArthur really pushing on this lap here, trying to close that gap back in on Mars. He'd like to get his 6th place position back, and not only that, but have highest bragging rights for Mercedes drivers. As look at this, we got Corvette leading the way. We got 2 Fords, 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, and then we see another Ford at 8th place. So doubling up of manufacturers here for a couple spots in the top 10.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Hey, I'm just thinking, Rob, I went to school with a guy named Jamie MacArthur. I wonder if this is Jamie MacArthur, who I went to school with, grandson or son or something, because I couldn't believe he could actually be the same guy. Anyhow, that was just a thought that had crossed my mind a couple of times. Jacob Brown here, currently in 14th. We are following along with him. Jacob Brown following along behind Robert Milbrath. Robert Milbrath, back to where he started. He's sitting in 13th place right now. Fortunately, not the race he was looking for.
Oh no, Jody Nielsen's had to come back into the pits again. Not sure what for. He stopped in his stall, so it's not a drive-through for incident points. I wonder if he's just underfilled here, Rich. So it was looking promising up towards the he was battling for a final spot in the top 10, but what could have been here for Jody Nielsen's going to go by the wayside as we're now down to 7.5 minutes to go. Bronco now feeling a ton of pressure from Alex Jacobson in 4th place.
Oh, there we go. We got a nice little battle up for the final spot on the podium right now. Anthony Branco's had 3rd position basically since the start of this race, but Jacobson now starting to apply a little pressure as they come through turn 1. That Mustang may have chewed up all of its tires. Looks like Jacobson's got a little bit more left in the tank.
Yeah, Jacobson trying to send that pony out to pasture here, Rich, but Bronco trying to get one more race out of it. He needs some Secretariat-esque speed right now as that McLaren is looking very, very racy in behind with Alex Jacobson behind the wheel. I think it's only a matter of time here. I think the tires might be going by the wayside here for Jacobson, and we know he can't really afford to push it, Rich. We've seen what happened to a number of other Mustangs here this evening, so he doesn't have that opportunity to really hammer on the throttle out of a corner to try and keep that McLaren behind it.
Yeah, Jacobson applying all kinds of pressure so far. Branco doing a good job of holding him off. Take a look at these 2 drivers coming out. Oh, squishing the cam was Anthony Branco. Anthony Branco, though, still holding off Alex Jacobson. Jacobson right there, just looking for any opportunity. I think we may see something happening pretty soon here. We've got one more corner to go before they kind of get onto that long straightaway. If there's anything going to be done, Alex Jacobson looking for a good exit here. A good exit, trying to get by Anthony Branco. Let's see who's got the most power. Branco trying to break the draft, moving over to the left, now moving back to the right. Jacobson having none of it, still following in tight and closing the gap down a little bit, but not enough. He's going to run out of space here unless he sends it. He does not. Branco continuing to hold off Jacobson. We've got lap traffic up ahead in Jay Davis. We know what Jay Davis is going to do when these guys get there, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send Anthony Bronco a bill for my camera that he just drove over and crushed. But it looks like the McLaren traditionally has been a great car in a straight line in seasons past, Rich. It looks like maybe they took a couple horsepower out of the top end of it. He was struggling to stay with the Mustang. It almost looked like Anthony Bronco open up that gap a little bit down the straight where it's, we've seen various other manufacturers head down the straight here where they've been trailing a car all through this race to be able to utilize that draft to make a move. So we'll keep an eye on them as they are the closest battle on track here, and it's for a final step on the podium with 4.5 minutes to go. We'll see if maybe next time by, if Jacobson gets a little better run, or if Anthony Bronco can be able to utilize all the horsepower and torque in that Mustang to stay out ahead.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a good battle so far, though. They're on lap 21. I predict, 2 more after this one, I guess, Rob. So right now they're coming up along behind it. Jay Davis. Jay Davis looks like he's got himself some decent pace now. Now there's no traffic or issues ahead of him. Here they come, side by side. Barranco continued. Oh, a little too much side there. Unfortunately for Jacobson. Jacobson going a little bit into the dirt and grass, losing the back end a little bit. That's going to open up the gap to Barranco by close to a second. But the way he's going, unless he cooked the tires, I think Jacobson's going to make another stab at it.
Yeah, I could see what Jacobson was trying there. He knew that if he could get, although he's on the outside heading into that corner, but if he gets side by side with him, the next 2 corners would have been right-handers, and he would have had the inside line. So I saw exactly what he was trying when that happened, but to drop a tire onto the grass, Rich, thankfully for him, he was able to collect it up. As there you see Jay Davis pulling out to the side, letting those cars through. Scholar and a gentleman there, Jay Davis, he's going to get the Gentleman Driver of the Day award from me.
Yeah, and for me as well. That's the other nice thing of driving and racing leagues. You get to know all the drivers. You get to know who the good guys are, like Jay Davis. So Anthony Barranco doing a good job getting through. Anthony Barranco going way off onto the curbs, but continuing to hold himself, about 9-10 second lead over Jacobson. And going to go back a little further through the field. Not too much further, though. We got Matt Mars in 6th, Jamie MacArthur in 7th. Uncle Tank in 8th, and Chase Matsko, a little bit of a spin. We're not going to show that, folks. We didn't see that, Chase. Uncle Tank, though, up to 8th position, Rob, after that disastrous start on lap 1, going all the way to the back of the field. Uncle Tank in the sponsored race. Let's take a look at the lap track car going a little off track. It's Broughton Jones currently in 21st, having all kinds of issues, unfortunately. Right now we've got Matt Mars 6th, Jamie MacArthur 7th. Then we've got Uncle Tank in 8th. Uncle Tank sponsor up to 8th place from where was he, about 23rd or so?
Yeah, he had fallen almost down to the tail end of the field of cars that were still driving on track, Rich. So our race sponsor, rough race for him, getting himself back up into 8th place. So we got this battle is now our closest battle. Is things going to subside a little bit between Barranco and Jacobson. I wonder if maybe Jacobson pushed a little too hard. He's got a little too hot of tires. He's fallen back a little bit, about 8, 9 tenths back. So we'll stick with this one for now, as Jamie MacArthur doing everything he can to try and chase down Matt Mars, but try and keep Uncle Tank in behind him.
Uncle Tank using all the track, and then half of the infield there. He's driving angry, it looks like, as Uncle Tank, but doing a good job of it. And right now he's in that hunt along with the MacArthur and Mars. They're 3 guys fighting over 6th place. Jeremy Eshelman is a little too far ahead, so this is really a battle between the 3 of them to see who's going to finish where. But up a little closer in the front, Anthony Barranco, 3rd and final podium position. Alex Jacobson closing that gap down just a little bit. He's closed that down halfway from what he had lost it on that little bit of a slide he had last about a lap and a half ago. So Jacobson back up, starting to close in the gap, trying to close down and apply a little more pressure to Anthony Barranco. We're on the final lap. Are we, Rob, or just about here?
No, we are on the final lap. You're correct. So last opportunity here for Jacobson to try and find a way around Barranco. He's pushing, trying to close that gap. It's still about a half second back. Our leader, Brock Morris, he's heading into the last couple corners here, and then he's got that long straight and a few more corners to go here to wrap up week 3. But we'll stick with this battle for now. Keep an eye on the leader. Let's quickly pop back here to Uncle Tank and Jamie MacArthur as they're still battling it out. Looks like Jamie MacArthur able to open up a little bit of gap here. Matt Mars now falling back into the clutches of MacArthur. So that battle not done. Still a little bit on the table here for those 3 drivers as they're battling it out for 6th, 7th, and 8th. That battle for 2nd place kind of going by the wayside again. Bronco opening up that gap. Our leader, Brock Morris, One more corner to go for him, and then a quick little shoot to the start-finish line to wrap up round 3 here for him.
Yeah, tremendous effort for Brock Morris. Really, it was his from the get-go, and Brock Morris, our race winner, third week here at Freedom Motorsports Alliance. Great racing overall, all up and down the track. We take a look at Anthony Baranko, third place right now. Anthony Baranko holding off Alex Jacobson. We got third and fourth place.
Yeah, Baranko crossed the line there. He'll hold off Jacobson. Back to the battle here for 6th place. Matt Mars opened up a gap over Jamie MacArthur. Now MacArthur's focus is trying to keep Uncle Tank in behind him. Will Tank go for the dive at the end of the corner, or the straight here? Too far back. It'd be a hell of a send from there. He's going to try it anyway. He's up the inside. Oh, onto the curb. He had to do it, but cut a little too much through the corner there. MacArthur able to fend him off. Luckily for Uncle Tank, they had enough of a gap over Sorrentino. So, yeah, as you mentioned, nothing lost there. Mars across the line for 6th place. MacArthur going to outlast for 7th. Uncle Tank in 8th. Anthony Sorrentino and Kyle Mavis going to round out the top 10. Adventurous day here for Kyle Mavis. He's going to be happy with coming home with a top 10 finish after all that.
Yeah, it was a solid effort. I like Uncle Tank using up all the incident points. Hey, it's the last lap. They gave them to you. You got to use them. Robert Milbrath, 13th place. He had a little bit of adventures, but solid effort finishing where he started. Robert Milbrath, 13th. In behind him, we've got Jacob Brown, 14th.
Dustin Wells in the Aston coming out of 15th place. A driver who we saw had one of those spins too as well. He had got himself in between those 5 Mercedes that had like a lock on the back end of the top 10. And then coming around the corner, just lost the back end. Adam Lowe, our lone Ferrari in the field here tonight.
That is strange.
Yeah, it's usually a car you see. It's one of the first cars you get in iRacing. Is it's the first GT3 you buy, but I guess they changed that when they brought in the Ferrari Challenge car. We don't necessarily need to buy the Ferrari GT3 anymore, but he's going to cross the line, and it looks like Chase Matsko is our final car. He is a lap down. He's going to call it quits from there, and take a look at our results here once timing and scoring resets. Rich?
Yeah, you know what? I still think the Ferrari, you gotta race it. Somebody should be racing it. It's a good. Ferrari always makes a well-balanced car, and anyhow, that's my rant for the day. But hey, Corvette's won. Chevy Power, our race victor. He led every single lap. Brock Morris is 2nd place. Marshall Crocker Jr. Solid effort once again. He likes finishing 2nd in this league, folks. Anthony Baranko, Iron Motorsports, a race car driver, finishing 3rd in the Mustang. So 2 Mustangs on the podium, and not bad overall.
Yeah, absolutely. For all the struggles we saw, the rest of the field in the Mustangs having, no doubt, it's hats off to those 2 drivers snatching away podium positions in the Mustang, which looked like a heck of a handful here tonight, Rich, for a lot of our drivers to corral that pony, as it just wanted to run free and clear the rest of the field here tonight.
Well, if I had the skill of Marshall or Anthony, I guess I could have driven it, but I'd probably be one of those guys who spun it out tonight. Those 2 drivers had no issues, though. Quite the great race tonight, Rob.
It was, for a track that we don't see a whole lot of action on. Aragon, one of those tracks that you only really buy it if you have to, and a lot of times that comes up when you're in a league, or if you're somebody who's really dedicated to running every race of the official that season. It's one of those tracks that isn't high on everybody's list. It's more of a MotoGP track where you see a lot of tighter corners and a lot of elevation changes that really put the pressure on our drivers. We saw a number of spins coming from that tonight, but you know what? I think all in all, we saw some great racing top to bottom of this one, Rich. Battles all throughout. So you know what, Aragon, hats off to you. But we got some drivers in the waiting room here. First off, you know what? Let's bring in our race winner, Brock Morris. Let's have him catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Brock! Congratulations. That was a very solid effort.
Thank you. It felt great. I didn't really know what to expect tonight, but I certainly didn't expect to win. So yeah, I'm pretty over the moon right now.
You and Marshall Crocker Jr., you got up to a tremendous start, and then after the pit strategy, where I'm not going to ask you if you took tires or not, because I'm just not going to ask you. And
Maybe.
when you were trying to warm those tires up, Marshall really closed that gap down. Were you getting a little nervous, or did you know it come back into it for you?
Oh, absolutely. I was getting pretty nervous because I think I came out with like a 4-second gap, and within like 2 laps, he brought it down to like 1.1, 1.2, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. And I think maybe I was caught off guard by the balance of the car with fuel, with worn tires, with unknown strategy decisions we're not going to get into. But yeah, I was getting nervous for sure.
Oh, it was. You're getting nervous, but once you got everything heated up again, certainly you opened that gap up a little bit again, and a tremendous race victory. Anybody like to give a shout out tonight to Brock?
Absolutely. Kettering University, Kettering Esports. I'd like to shout out Juicy Spider Studios, High Side Podcast. And I'd also like to shout out you guys up here in the booth. You guys do a great job every week. And I'd like to also thank FMA for putting this stuff on. This is the best league I've ever been a part of in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing. And I love it so much. I won't miss one of these Monday races for much. So yeah, I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate FMA as well. It gives us a place to do our broadcasts. Great racing, and congratulations. We'll see you next week, Brock.
All right, thank you, guys.
So that was our race winner, Brock Morris. Going to start to see a battle here at the top of the Pro Championship, Rich, between Morris and Crocker. Unfortunate race night for Roberto, but he came in third place in points. But speaking of our driver who came into this one leading the pro category in points, going to come home with a second place finish. We mentioned it on air, a gentleman of multi-talents here, but production in iRacing, production in broadcasting some hockey and doing some news. Couldn't quite manufacture a win here tonight, but second place, Marshall, can't be much to shake your hat at.
No, you're right. I'm a man of too many. I'm a jack of all trades. I got to be master of one. I don't know where I would have found that 2/10 I needed. That's all the gap was tonight to Brock, but what a drive from him, man. He was just on rails. I know there was that brief glimmer of hope there out of the pit cycle that I was like, wow, something about the heavy fuel in the car just made the Mustang handle so much better, but the Mustang just would not point the front end in tonight. You saw there at the beginning, just that first lap, I could not get the car to rotate in the low speed. Brock ate me up, and that was all she wrote. One of those things that's so hard to pass at this high level when nobody's going to make mistakes, and I think Brock just had that little extra margin of pace on me tonight that, yeah, maybe I should be spending more time working on that than I am all this other stuff. So in the end, the right guy won tonight. He ran a great race, and in the end, I'll take P2. I feel like there's not much more I could have found, and that way I kind of have a little bit of peace of mind with it.
How big did your eyes get when you saw him come out of the pits? And I don't know if you realized or not, but we're pretty sure he took front tires. He was trying to ward them back up. You were closing that gap in. Did you think you had a chance if you can get back into the draft to try and overtake him?
I definitely thought if I could, with the way that pace was working together, I did think it was just putting the fuel load back in the car. That's the part of the run I was quick in, the first part. And then I know that Corvette, once you have a little bit of fuel and it gets heavy and its raw ability to just point in the front end gets taken away a little bit, that I knew that was going to go away. So I saw once that momentum kept, dropping and dropping, I was only to a 1/10 faster a lap, I knew it was over. So it was good. Like, I got excited. I just give credit to him because I thought my thing today was going to be pit entry, pit exit. I was kind of practicing a little bit in my free time because a couple of my races and this and other things have come down to that lately, and he beat me in that too. So what a well-earned drive today. But what a well-earned drive today for my teammate there, Anthony Barranco, finally finishes a race, and he does so in P1. So good day overall for the boys wearing the horses.
Yeah, Iron Horse. Well, good day for you guys. A couple of your other teammates in the Mustangs didn't suffer the same type of results. They were struggling to keep the back end behind them. But before we let you go here, Marshall, anybody you want to shout out watching at home or teammates and so forth?
Yeah, no, well, shout out to the teammates. We're having a ton of fun kind of working together, getting to kind of get a production line going of passing down info, doing little lap guides every week for the guys, and it seems to be making a difference on pace. They just got to find a way to keep that heavy back end under them. But just want to make maybe a call to action for a change. The great race in here, tons of talented guys. Everybody come out to Prototype Challenge. All you guys watching this back, Thursday nights, get in that series because they're putting on a good show. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm sure you talked about it, but it's been a pleasure broadcasting that. So anybody watching this back, if you have free Thursday nights, nobody's busy on Thursday. Nothing happens on Thursday. Go out, go to Prototype Challenge, go run those races, and check it out if you haven't watched it. That's all for me.
The guy that says there's nothing happening on Thursdays, he's gonna fly away tomorrow night. He's gonna go cover something else IRL, and I gotta cover his job tomorrow night. So there is something going on Thursday nights, Marshall Crocker. But take care. Best of luck to you. Next week we head to Mosport, a track you're probably familiar with, but we'll catch you later on. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
That was their second place finisher in Pro and overall, Marshall Crocker Jr. Let's bring in our final driver on the podium in Pro class. Finished in 5th overall, Jeremy Eschlin, to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, congratulations, Jeremy. 3rd place, back on the podium. Solid effort.
Yeah, thank you. Overall, it was a kind of a boring race for me, but I'll take a 3rd place for the pros.
Yeah, it was. We didn't call you much because you weren't involved in much. Kind of found your place, found your pace, and kind of kept out of trouble. Was that kind of how the race went for you?
Yeah, 100%. Early was just to win a couple of the spins here and there, and then I believe it was Jamie and Matt were right behind me. I thought we were going to have a battle for a while, and I got to stay tangled a little bit, and next thing I know, I'm in a gap behind me, gap ahead, so I just made sure I kept it clean.
Yeah, them battling in behind you. I was wondering if they're going to catch up to you as well, but they were having some good battles, and that just let you kind of walk away and have your own race. Next week we're going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mosport. Do you have much experience there?
I have 0. I have to buy the track still.
Haha. Well, that's the local, actual, real-life track to Rob and I, so we're going to love calling that race. Good luck with that. Anybody you'd like to give a shout-out tonight, Jeremy?
Yeah, congrats to my teammate Alex. He was 4th tonight. I think 2nd Pro-Am, so congrats to him.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week, and congratulations once again.
Thank you, guys.
That was our final driver on the podium in Pro class, Jeremy Eschlin, 5th overall, 3rd in class. Let's bring in our race winner in Pro-Am, also finished 3rd in class, another one of those Iron Horse Motorsports drivers, Anthony Bronco. Anthony, you struggled the first couple of weeks getting a finish under you, but tonight at Aragon, looks like it worked out well.
Yeah, what a race. That is such a rewarding track to get right, but it can go so wrong with all those combined corners, braking and turning. Super easy to lose the car, so to come out of that with minimal mistakes, I'll definitely take that. And 3rd overall, can't complain.
Now we saw a couple of your teammates, Kyle Mavis and Jacob Williams in the Mustangs too as well. They struggled keeping the back end behind it in a couple of corners, namely turn 1. How was it out there for you? Were there a couple of corners you really had to go through gingerly not to lose the back end?
Absolutely, and it doesn't help when you have Alex Jacobson within half a second to a second, literally the entire race. I can't wait to watch the race replay on that one. But yeah, I mean, I almost lost it myself. Super tricky track.
Yeah, there was a couple of times on the last few laps where we pretty much followed you guys for the last 5-6 minutes of the race, where he stuck the nose up in the inside, almost lost the car as you were heading through. I think it's turn 10 or so. It snapped around, but you were able to hold him off. Next week we head into Mosport, a track that is pretty much raw power. I believe they call it the highest average corner speed in iRacing is a Mosport. Are you familiar with the track? How are you feeling about heading there with the Mustang?
Feeling good. I've driven it a couple times actually in the Mustang, so I'm never on the fixed, but can't be too much different. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be another high-speed barn burner. I can only think of really 2 legitimate passing zones, so it's just going to be qualifying is going to be everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Qualifying going to be pertinent next week. But before we let you go here, Anthony, anybody you want to shout out, potentially watching at home or cheering you on?
I'm sure my son Grayson, Racing Grayson, will be rewatching the race broadcast. He had to go to bed early, but he's got school. Iron Horse Motorsports, we got Marshall P2 overall. We got if we can ever have 2 Iron Horse Pro-Ams have a clean race in the same race, that'll be the day. And Jacob, just keep getting better, man. Keep getting better. We're here for you.
Absolutely good stuff. Well, we expect big things from Iron Horse Motorsports towards the rest of the season. Best of luck to you, Anthony, and hopefully we see you at the top end of the field again next week at Motorsport. Take care.
Good night, guys. I will do my best. See you next week.
That was our top Pro-Am driver, Anthony Bronco. Let's bring in P2. Where is he? Here, there he is. Alex Jacobson finished second in class, 4th overall. He's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Congratulations, Alex. Second place in class. He had just missed out on that final podium position overall. But man, you had some great battling with Anthony Bronco tonight. Oh, can you hear me, Alex?
Let's try and bring him in again. There we go. Try now.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Alex, that was quite the battle you had pretty much most of the race long with Anthony Bronco. Solid effort. Second in class, P4 overall. What were your thoughts on tonight's race?
Honestly, I was just glad to make it through the first couple turns there. I was a little sideways with the cold tires, and after last race, I just wanted to have a clean start. So overall, just really happy with how it went, but it was a great battle, and I thought I had him a couple times and just couldn't quite finish it. So it was a great race by Anthony.
Yeah, I noticed near the end of the race there, you kind of sent it down the inside going downhill, and the car got a little sideways on you. Cost you about close to a second, but you battled right back to try and battle some more. So overall, quite the solid effort. Next week, we're going to racing at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, otherwise known as Mosport. Is that a track you're familiar with?
To be honest, I've only raced it in LMP2, so not super familiar with it from a GT perspective, but I only started practicing today for today's race, so I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable for next week.
Well, I think you're well ahead of some of the people we've already spoken to, so who still need to purchase said track. So we look forward to seeing what you've got next week, Alex. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to all the guys in the group here. I feel like it was a lot of fun today. The last couple of races obviously were great as well, but there's a lot of fun today with this track. I've never driven it before, but it just had a nice flow to it, so just great racing from everybody.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you next week, Alex.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's round out the podium here and bring in our 3rd place finisher in Pro-Am, who also finished just outside the top 5. Matt Marr is also one of the admins with the Nerd Machine. No Easter liveries this week, Matt.
No, I've been working on this one for a few weeks, so I figured it needs its time in the sun. So the Easter's upon us, and it's time to move on to the next thing, I guess.
How did you like Aragon? I know it's Rich and I were talking throughout the broadcast. It's not one of the most popular tracks on iRacing. It's really a track that you only really end up buying if it's in a league that you're running, or maybe if you dedicate yourself to running a full official schedule and that track comes up. Is it a track you've driven on before tonight?
Well, it was a fun track. It's real flowy. There's a lot of rhythm sections to it. I seem to adapt well to it. I got this track last season. It was one of the officials. I think it was the Europe GT3 Europe series, and intended on running it. Made like 5 practice laps on it, and I wasn't that comfortable with it, and just kind of shelved it for the rest of the season. And Zach Tankersley he had a good run at it, I guess, during officials, and wanted to put it on the schedule. So I got all of about 5 minutes of practice in prior to this race. But like I said, I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I guess a podium will make you like it a little bit better, though.
Yeah, it's hard not to like a track that you finish on the podium, but the Mercedes, generally one of the quicker GT3s in a straight line. We're heading to Motorsport next week. I've mentioned it earlier to another couple drivers. iRacing, I believe they say that Motorsport is the highest average turn track as far as speed in iRacing. So the Merc going to be able to stretch its legs out. You feeling comfortable heading there? Do you have much to time on it. A number of drivers here said they didn't even own it; they had to buy it. So opportunity awaits next week for drivers who know the track.
Well, as with everyone else, I bought that track when I put it on the schedule this year, so I have about 5 minutes of practice on it as well. I went through one night and just made laps just to see what we were looking at and trying to pick the car that I wanted to run this season. I know I'm not locked in being in Pro-Am, but I kind of think I'm going to try to finish out the season with the Mercedes here, because it is helping, getting comfortable with one car and sticking with it. But no, I've got about maybe 3 laps on Canadian Tire, and so it'll be a fun week, I guess, preparing for that.
Looks like minimum practice worked well for you here tonight, so hopefully it works well again next week for you. So before we let you go here, Matt, anybody you want to shout out at home?
Yeah, I want to thank, of course, I just got home from a trip with my wife for our anniversary, and she was real understanding on the way home. Like, look, I've got to get home. I've got to try to practice and try to get a little bit of time in before this race, and she was understanding on it. And even though it didn't work out that way, I ended up cooking supper for the kids and doing a few things, and I said, oh man, I'm gonna get a whole 10 minutes maybe if I'm lucky. But only took me 100 races with FMA to finally get my first podium. I want to throw that out there too. I think this was my 100th race with the league, and never had podium prior to this, so pretty proud of that. But I want to shout out the league. I want to shout out all the guys that make this league click, and all the guys that participate with us week in and week out and make this league what it is. And of course, you guys for the awesome broadcast week in and week out. The growth that you guys have helped us achieve with the league, and just like I said, I think that's it really.
Well, we appreciate
of course, my
all
teammates,
that.
Admin Advantage teammate here. So me and Chase, I think Ryan took the night off. He's assembling a new rig that he bought. So
yeah, we had that win last night in the Next Gen Series, so he had to take the night off just to recover. He's probably still recovering from the celebrations.
That's right. Yeah, he is. So
well, now you've broken through the ceiling as far as podiums, Matt. So sky's the limit now. So we hope to see you battling up for another one next week. But take care.
Appreciate
and
it, guys.
Best of luck next week at Mosport.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
See you, man.
So that was third place in Pro-Am. Now we're going to get into our our Am drivers here to wrap things up. Let's bring in our race winner in Am, Jacob Brown, who also finished in 14th overall.
Jacob, congratulations. Nice victory in your class tonight.
Thank you.
I got driving the BMW, the only BMW in the field. What made you choose that car, Jacob?
That's my go-to. That's my every week car.
That's your every week car. You had a solid effort tonight. 14th, up 7 positions on the day. You managed to avoid a lot of what was going on. Was that a little bit of luck, or were you on the hunt? Were you on the lookout? Were you close to any of those big spins and accidents?
Oh yeah, I was definitely close to them. I was just keeping my eye above up ahead of me and make sure I didn't come across a blind incident.
It's kind of tough to do at this track. This track with a lot of blind corners, elevation changes. Next week we're battling out at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Canada, Mosport. Have you done any racing there yet?
I have not. I'm gonna have to learn that one.
Yeah, though I think that'll some more blind corners, some more elevation changes, and some big long straightaways. So look forward to seeing what you can do there. Is see if you've got another podium or perhaps victory in the tank. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out tonight to, Jacob?
Just FMA and y'all for putting on a good product.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And congratulations once again. Hopefully you duplicate that next week.
We're going to try.
All right, on.
That was Jacob Brown, our winner in the AM class, a man of many words here. Let's bring in our second place finisher in AM, Dustin Wells. Dustin, you had a nice run going there. You were able to separate those 5 Mercedes and then just come around the bottom of the hill, just kind of lost the back end of that Aston. Is it something you had to struggle with all night? We saw it really being an issue with the Mustangs, really losing the back end through a number of corners.
Later on in the race, it definitely felt that way, but in the beginning, no, it felt strong. Felt like I could put the car wherever I wanted and it do what I wanted. but definitely after the spins, everything kind of started exposing itself.
You're one of the few drivers, I think it's only you and Anthony Sorrentino this race that have been driving the Aston. Is the car you plan on sticking with the rest of the season?
110%, never gonna quit.
Well, Richard Swindell's in the booth here. We'll love hearing that. Or the Aston, one of his favorite cars after the Corvette that he's always mouthing off about every week. So maybe you guys can knock that Corvette down a couple tiers. But we head to Mo Sport next week, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. A number of drivers we talked to so far don't even own the track. Which category are you in? Do you own the track? Have you run some laps on it, or do you still need to buy it next week?
Oh, no, I own it. I've done some races there. Did a lot of F4 races. Won those, but GT3 race, I have not won there.
Well, at least you have some track knowledge coming into it, so you're a couple steps ahead of a number of guys here. You're came into this one, I believe, leading the AM class, so you're going to come out, should still be leading the class. How are you feeling about possibly pulling off a championship this season?
I'd love to do it. I'd love to make it happen, but mistakes will definitely piss it away. So I got to quit spinning, making little mistakes, and just stay strong.
Well, before we let you go, anybody want to shout out at home? Dustin Wells watching this one back.
As always, my nephews, my brother, friends and family, and Aaron and the Big Cheese.
Definitely thanks the Big Cheese for watching at home. Best of luck next week to you, Dustin, and your chase for the AM Championship. Take care.
And you guys as well. See you next week.
Have a good one. That was our second place finisher in AM class, Dustin Wells. Let's bring in our final step on the AM podium. That is Cody Deek. He's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Cody, fabulous effort. Started dead last, up 8 positions, third place on the podium in the AM division.
Yes, sir.
That was a solid, a good effort. Lots of spins and incidents going around this twisty, hilly track. How'd you manage to make so many gains and stay relatively clean?
I mean, overall, I tried just running a smooth race. I knew if I minimized mistakes, I had a chance at doing something tonight, at least in my class. Main thing was just trying to get through corner 5 is what I was struggling with the most. We did pretty good through it. I mean, we got loose one time after that pit stop, but those fresh tires kind of killed me.
But you wouldn't have been the only one having issues at turn 5, but overall, a very, very good effort. A little better qualifying next week. I'd be interested to see what you can do if you're starting a little further up the field. Next week, we're at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Have you done any racing there before?
I've not actually touched the track. I thought it was the track that I've been watching on F1, but definitely wasn't when I just took a peek at the screenshots. So it'll be completely new to me. I still got to buy it. We'll see how I do.
Well, you're not alone.
I know tonight I did qualify. I got an off track on all 3 laps, so it didn't count. And I'm like, well, maybe it's for the best.
Well, it hurt you a little bit, but you proved you had a lot more pace, and it'd be nice to see what happens next week. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight, Cody?
I'd like to go ahead and shout out Oath Racing. They've given me a great platform to be able to actually expand and be able to join races like these. Ulti Energy, Red Dragon, Lycan Forge 3D. Yeah. And then you guys. I am new to the league, but after watching the past couple of weeks, you guys make it a lot more fun.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're enjoying it, and we enjoyed your performance tonight. Congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing what you've got in store for us next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a wonderful night.
You too.
Was Cody Deek, final step on the podium in AM class for him. And yeah, that's how you do it, folks. You want to get more camera time, just take in a shout out that you enjoy watching us back, and we'll throw you on the camera more. I'm just kidding. Everybody try and focus on everybody and anybody, especially battles. But yeah, Richard Swindells can be bribed, though. But that said, that's going to wrap things up here at Aragon for us, Rich. And I mentioned it earlier before we got into the interviews. I think it was a great track. A lot of exciting battles all throughout. And as Marshall Crocker mentioned, if you're looking to do some prototype racing Thursday nights, you can kind of soothe that desire here on FMA. You can hop in the LMP2 or the GTP. And then if you like next-gen NASCAR racing, it's offered to on Sundays as well, covered here on Racers Nexus. 3 days a week covering FMA racing. But until next week, I'm going to say bye for now. For Richard Swindellis in the booth with me, I'm Rob Campbell. This has been Racers Nexus. We'll catch you next week at Mosport, north of the border. Bye for now.
Good night. Oh.